Welcome back to a special edition of Fox and Friends, continuing to cover the breaking news out of Japan. For the latest on this devastating earthquake, we're joined on the phone by David Crescente of Global Radio News. He is in Tokyo for us this morning. Good morning to you, David. What is the scene in Tokyo? I guess it's about 8:45 p.m. local time.
Yeah, the scene is surprisingly calm. Today kind of looked like pretty much any other day in central Tokyo. There was definitely none of the, I guess, fear that was there, that was really kind of palpable last night when literally millions of people were stuck in central Tokyo and unable to get home. The train lines have reopened, so people are going about their daily lives. But at the same time, there is still a massive sense of unease. Things in the city, it's obvious that the city kind of has suffered this huge quake, and the government has introduced measures to kind of, I guess, adapt to that.
Our Adam Housley is there in Tokyo as well. He was describing people, surrounding their televisions, watching split screens of the nuclear reactor in Fukushima and concerns there in Tokyo about what may happen to that nuclear reactor.
Yeah, that's correct. There are definite concerns about the future here in Tokyo, not only about the reactor, but if you go into any of the supermarkets or even convenience stores, which litter every single street in Japan, they're basically empty. People are kind of throwing, or the workers are throwing food into kind of large buckets for people just to grab because all the shelves are completely bare. There's a lack of, I guess, buying fresh food and buying water from some of these shops, and people are really preparing for the worst. The latest on this street is actually that there could be a power outage very shortly, and people are kind of buying warm clothes and preparing for, I guess, a situation that they really don't know what's coming next.
David, is there a sense there that the government is keeping people adequately apprised of the possibly devastating situation with the nuclear reactor there?
Look, that's a difficult question because the people that I speak to are, kind of listening to the government statements and are saying that's just not right. The government's released some sort of, I guess, vapor from the reactor and saying that it's not that harmful to people. Who wants to, I guess, breathe in vapor that's released from a nuclear reactor that's got radioactivity in it? So, people are kind of a little bit skeptical as to what the government is saying. Recently, there was a live press conference where government officials were telling people to remain calm and just to wait for future government announcements. They were saying that there's a lot of numbers flying around, a lot of rumors. People are, sending messages electronically that are just too fast, and that people need to just calm down and listen to what the government has to say. But people are skeptical.
Yeah, David, this is new video we're seeing here of just the utter devastation all across the country. The pictures of that tsunami, none of us will ever forget, yet the numbers we're hearing sound relatively minimal. What are they reporting there in terms of the death toll locally?
Yeah, the death toll has been changing throughout the day quite substantially. There are reports, obviously, of large numbers of people missing. The current death toll is about 1,400, according to local media here. But with death tolls, they can often kind of jump around quite a lot without really kind of hitting the right figure until quite a few days later.
And David, as we're looking at this video here, and I can't help but think as we're seeing this devastation once in the city centers as well as out in the farmland, and you see the railroad tracks just upended and torn apart, any sort of rescue effort, you need staging areas. You need places for the rescuers to go and to remove people and try to get them warm clothing but there doesn't look like to be any infrastructure at all for them to even have staging areas from which to launch these rescue efforts. What are you hearing?
Well, I think a large problem is that phone lines, while they are working in central Tokyo, it's impossible to contact anybody in these kind of areas. So if you're not within the areas, nobody really knows what's going on outside. I know a lot of people who have family members in these affected areas, and even quite a few, large distance away from them, and they're unable to call them. So I guess if you're within those areas, you'd be waiting on kind of radio announcements to kind of know of where to go. But apart from community halls and schools, I can't think of any other areas where people would congregate.
All right, David Crescente from Global Radio News, thanks so much for your firsthand report there. Obviously, communications have been severely hampered. We're going to talk about how social media has really helped people feel more connected, thank goodness, because cell phones are not working, etc.